Welcome to Funnel Hacker Radio Podcast, where we go behind the scenes and uncover the tactics and strategies top entrepreneurs are using to make more sales, dominate their markets, and how you can get those same results. Here's your host, Dave Woodward.
Hey everybody, welcome. This is Dave Woodward, the host of Funnel Hacker Radio. Today, you have the opportunity of hearing from Jena Rodriguez. I'm really excited to get to know her. I don't know her as well as I've known some of my other guests, but she comes highly recommended, and that's all it takes for me. And she is a 6- and 7-figure brand strategist. So Jena, welcome.
Hi, Dave. How are you? Thanks for trusting the referral.
You know what?
No, it's awesome.
Props out to Scott Morrison for the referral.
Yep.
I've known Scott for a long, long time, and he's a dear friend, and he's one of those guys who will never, ever send me anybody he doesn't have 1,000% trust in. And so I'm really excited to get to know you a little bit better on the call, but more importantly, to really introduce you to our whole Funnel Hacker community. I know you're new to ClickFunnels, but you've come over with a ton of momentum, and I'm excited to have you. So welcome to ClickFunnels. Welcome to Funnel Hacker Radio.
I'm so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, how many funnels can I make, right? So I do. I'm really enjoying the people. I mean, like you guys and the product, and I'm just, really excited to be here, of course, for your audience, and hopefully we'll give them some golden nuggets to walk away with. So I appreciate that. And yeah, shout out to Scott. So thanks to him as well. Well,
I'm really curious. We get asked all the time as far as how important is branding, and I'm a small person. Do I need to spend a lot of money on branding? And one of the things you were talking about as we kind of got started here was the difference between a brand and branding. If you don't mind, let's kind of just dive right in and help people kind of understand that.
Yeah, it's the foundation of everything I teach, for that matter, and so thanks for asking. And yeah, for me, I have a distinction between the two, and to keep it really simplistic, what I say is brand is who you are and what you stand for as a business and as a visionary, and branding is simply the process of expressing it. And that's where I think the rub is most people don't know how to articulate. And it's very much understood because it's something, kind of deep seated as far as how to articulate what they stand for and, who they really want to be and how they want to show up in the marketplace and what kind of impression they want to leave and all these things that are somewhat intangible. And yet branding is, the first thing people see. And yet I found over the 10 years of being an entrepreneur, branding is important, but what I find to be important is that it's appropriate to expressing who you are. And of course, in order to do that, we have to start at the beginning, and we have to figure out the inner game of your brand before we figure out the outer game of your branding. And so, yeah, that's my distinction.
I love that. I know that it's always kind of funny. I get asked all the time as far as what is ClickFunnels, who is ClickFunnels, and it's really interesting as far as I've thought a lot about this thing you were just referring to as far as the brand versus the branding. And we tie a lot of that in also to culture and really trying to be very, very congruent with who we are. And it's been really a lot of fun as Russell's in the process right now of creating his new book called Expert Secrets. And it's been really a ton of fun. I've had the opportunity of doing a lot of the proofreading and kind of working through some of the different things. And it was really fascinating to me as we were talking about this whole concept of building a culture and really what is your brand? What do you represent? And for us, it's just been an amazing journey to really kind of go through it. We've now talked a lot about funnel hackers and how we, originally we had this show, actually when I first started, it was ClickFunnels Radio. But that wasn't who people identified with. People identified as being funnel hackers. And so we changed it to Funnel Hacker Radio. And I love what you represent and how you explain it and how you talk to people about that. So if you don't mind, can you kind of go a little deeper into this for our listeners as far as we've got, just so you understand our audience, we've got some people who are literally brand new to this whole entrepreneurial game, and yet we have others who are crushing it at 7- and 8-figure businesses. And I know that message really resonates with everybody. So if you don't mind, tell us a little bit more as far as you're training and working with your audiences, what types of things do you have them go through to help really identify what their brand is so they can get their branding out?
Yeah, so I love that, and I love the fact that you're addressing all business owners, startup to successful, and whatever phase you're in, and the truth is we will go through phases. We go through what I call a brand evolve, an evolution, and so there's different priorities in your brand and your branding strategy at the stage that you're in, and and it's something that I teach my clients and I work with them in VIP days, and even touch on it in my 3-day event coming up. And the point of that is it is an inquiry. It is an unfolding. It's peeling back the onion layer. Sometimes that has to be facilitated. That's why I'm in business. Most people come to me to help facilitate that process, because it's in our blind spot a lot of times, because we don't know how to. It's like we know what we're doing and being in the world, but we don't know how to articulate it and really put some meat around it. And so one of the things I start with is, of course, the inquiry process with my clients and the audiences that I teach, and it really begins with the simple question called, what do I stand for inside of my business? What do I want people to get about me? What do I promise them? And what's my point of view? Like, that's a mouthful, but those are some of the questions that I start with to really start to dig deeper into that subconscious level of who we are as a visionary for our business. And when we start to answer those questions, a lot of times it's the first thing that comes to mind, which is our conscious answer, right? It's what we think we know. And then I have people go a little deeper. I have them, okay, now that you've answered that question, why that? Why is it so important that you have that for people, that you stand for that? And culture is absolutely part of the brand stand. Culture is how it's another place that it's expressed, for that matter. So I'm glad you brought that up as well. And so inside of this inquiry process, the ultimate goal for me when I'm peeling back that onion layer for people is to get them to the emotional core. Right? Why the heck does this matter? Because we wake up passionate about something only because there's an emotion driving it. And when it's, if it's just about the money, you're gonna land flat. Right? And so, however, money touches everything, and there's a reason why we want the money. There's a reason why we want to share our talent. There's something that we stand for that matters. And, for me, it took me a while to really start to articulate mine, and it continues to evolve and expand as I get experience or work with people or, grow in my own business experience. And, for me, what I realized, and, where it really gets my tear ducts is if I look at my children, and I have 2, and I want something for them in their future, what would it be? And so my deepest level of what I stand for is standing for them in a space where they can see who they really are and be unapologetic about it and be brave about their decisions and their potential. And that's like the core of who I am. That's why I have a podcast called The Brave Entrepreneur. That's why I help people kind of get uncomfortable and really step into that space and get brave about it on a consistent manner, and get clear that your point of view matters, and just really step into that, because I want my kids and the people that I serve, for that matter, kids included, that meaning my children, is that they have no limitation. And that's what drives me. It's like, I want to be a living example to them. So it's just part of the stand. It's part of why I do what I do every day. It's part of why I'm on this show with you. It's like, why do I show up and do what I do? And there's a bigger vision, there's a bigger purpose, and you really got to connect to how to articulate that so that you can start to create strategy around it. I'm very strategic. I'm very much about the numbers. I'm very much about, that's why I love ClickFunnels. I love those conversion stats, right? And, and it's a constant testing ground of understanding, is my message working? Is my brand message connecting? Is my marketing message converting? And those are all the different kind of things that I work with people in order to articulate who they are. It's not just about the logo, except the logo is important to build trust and memorability. And I always, it's so funny because people walk up to me at events, God love them, and they're like, what do you think of my logo? And I'm like, they hear brand strategist and they immediately think I've got an opinion. I mean, and I do, I have an opinion. However, the question it's the wrong question, right? What do you think of my logo is just not the right question. That's all. And the right question is, do you think my logo is appropriate? And I won't know that answer until I know who you are as a brand. So if people, and it's like the way I've connected with ClickFunnels and Russell, and he's very visible on video, and I feel like I know him, right? There is a culture, and meeting you, Dave, like I get it. There's a commonality and a common vision, and there's a conversation that you're having, and I want to be a part of that. And it's like, so that makes sense to me. And so, yeah, your logo is great. It's cute. It's wonderful. It's got pretty colors. I mean, like, so it's pretty, but that's not the right question to ask. The right question is, does it represent who you are and who you're representing out in the world? So does it speak to the people and the culture that you're building? And I totally think yours is appropriate.
Ooh, I was sweating it out over thinking, oh my gosh.
That's so funny. But it's if I don't know who you are and you just walk up to me and go, hey, does my logo look good? It's a hard question to answer. That's why I offer audits, because I do a brand audit for somebody, then I can dig under the hood a little bit so that I actually answer that question.
I love that you spoke so much about what do you stand for, and I think that it's really interesting. I talk to so many entrepreneurs, and I think it's probably the thing I love about what I do all the time is the interaction I have with so many people. But it's really interesting for me as I talk with these entrepreneurs. At first, they're not just trying to make money. The last thing they want to do is offend anybody, and they find themselves like right in the middle, not taking a stance on anything, and just kind of being wishy-washy. And I was talking with Russell literally just yesterday about this whole idea as far as we refer to as kind of the prolific index, and how you have to you can't be crazy on the far left or the far right, but you can't be in the middle either. You've got to go one way or the other, and you got to stand for something so that in a way it does repel some people. You can't be everything to everybody. You have to stand for something where some people are going to come to you and they're going to go, you know what? I just don't like you. I don't like anything about what you're doing. That's fine. You don't want those people in your business anyways. But
that's right.
By standing for something, you can then say, you know what? This is who I am, and this is who I serve. These are the type of people who resonate with me. And you attract people. And so I love that the very first thing you talked about is, what do you stand for? And I think as a business owner, you have to be able to be willing to offend some people and realize, you know what, you cannot serve everybody. You have to find the niche that works best for you. And that way people resonate with you. They're attracted to you. They come to you and they're like, Jena's my person. That's the person I want to know. She resonates with me. I get her. She gets me. She understands my brand, my message. And that's the kind of people, as we're talking to all these different entrepreneurs, I spend so much time with it. So you have to decide who it is that you want to be. And you just have to be able to offend people. And I know for some people that just comes across so harsh, but I'm like, you cannot just be in the middle. You won't ever be able to get any money.
Yeah, no, I call it being vanilla.
Perfect, yeah.
And it's so true. And it's taken me time to get comfortable being uncomfortable about that, right? Because it's not the most comfortable thing to do is to, repel people, because I really do want to be liked, but the thing I actually have a process called the declaring your it factor, your intentional target, which is all about the people you're meant to serve, because exactly what you just said is focus on your it factor. You'll no longer have competition. You'll no longer feel, that sense of like, oh my gosh, I'm leaving people out, because when you focus on your it factor, those people that you're meant to serve and the characteristics that we come up with that really explain who that is, then it's like everybody else should go find their it factor, right? They should go connect to them, the people they're meant to connect to. And it's just so powerful. I actually did that exercise in my business before I knew it was called the it factor, before I named it, when I rebranded in 2013. And I just said, I'm done with this. I'm frustrated. I want to attract the right people. And I sat down and did this, the exercise and of really identifying who the kind of people I wanted to attract. And within the first quarter of my business, of my rebrand, I just got clear on that piece alone and went out there and spoke to those people and, and spoke their language. I had a 30% increase in my revenue over the year before. Like, it was that quick. And it was like, dang, I should have done this sooner.
Oh, no, I totally,
yeah,
that just resonates. I agree so wholeheartedly with you on that.
Yeah.
And again, you see, I've worked with a lot of Russell's team as far as the people who are in his inner circle. And I'm not kidding you. It's weird where you literally see those 30, 50, 100% jumps once a person understands what their it factor is. I think it's fantastic. If you don't mind, could you give people a couple ideas as far as how they can actually define their it factor?
Yeah, for sure. So for me, it starts with knowing who your target audience is, because target audience is what we all know. It's the demographics. It's the, are they entrepreneurs? Is it corporate America? Is it teenagers? Who are they as far as their and their circumstances? And so you start with that because I believe the target audience is about where your money's made. It's the strategy. Yet inside of that dartboard, as I visualize, here's the whole target. However, inside of that bullseye is the it factor. And so you're going to find within that target audience your it factors, and not everyone that belongs to the target audience are your people. So I have them identify their target audience first, which we all can do, right? Who are they? What's their demographics? Maybe their, income levels. Where do they live? What color are they, et cetera. And then I have people think about what kind of person, what is the mindset, what is the intrinsic characteristics of the people you really want to be around. And the best way to find that and get connected to it is to think of the best client you've ever had, or the best relationship, colleague or partnership or something like that, and go, this is why I love this guy or this girl. This is who they are as people. It's not what they do. It's not, again, their profession or any of that. It's who they are. So for me, I'll give you my it factor, because so those it factors listening will know why. So my it factor characteristics are: they're brave, they think big, which means they focus on potential, not limitation. They're open-minded, they're coachable, they're value-oriented and value relationship. And they're rapid responders, love those action takers, and they're positively optimistic, and probably a couple other things. I mean, I could go on and on. And what you realize is all of those characteristics are innate. They are intrinsic. They don't change. They're not going to go away. People are those things or they're not. And it's okay that they're not. Right? They just go find support somewhere else, if that's not who your person is. And yet what happens is we attract those people. And I'm sure people listening are going, yeah, that's me. Like, I get that. That's what I want too. And which is perfect, because you and I've attracted, that's why I'm attracted to ClickFunnels. I can tell that that's part of the characteristics that exist, and it's just a resonance. And then what you recognize, you start to realize, is the target audience characteristics are circumstantial. And that's why we get somewhat confused in our marketing, or we get frustrated. And the truth is, it's an opportunity. Instead of getting frustrated, just look at it, at the opportunity to course correct your strategy and spend your money, smarter, and, choose your time and all of that in a, more productive way. Is when your it factors are your people, and you get strategic about where you spend your time and energy and what events you attend, and because that that's where your target is, then you just show up for your it factors, because half of the room won't be, right?
Man, I just love this. Seriously, I really hope everyone's taking a ton of notes on this, only because as a company, we went through this painfully. I mean, to the point where it literally cost us tens of millions of dollars because we didn't know. It was more a matter of, we just wanted, is anybody who could fog a mirror, who could breathe, who's willing to pay us a check, that's who we wanted. And then what we found is all of a sudden we started attracting all these people who we literally grew to hate. It was like, the last thing I want to do is deal with any of your customers. So I love, just as far as, if you're going to repel people real quick, if who you're going after are people who are rapid responders, who are positively optimistic, who are thinking big, who are brave, that's going to repel a whole bunch of people. And the best part, I hope everyone understands, is you don't want those people.
It's okay.
Get rid of them. Yeah. they're going to just I love where you're going with this.
Yeah,
I'm
too
sorry
bad
to
you didn't
interrupt.
meet me a few years ago.
Yeah. We could have.
No,
We
I get
needed
it.
you. We just didn't know you.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't know who you were. Too bad, too bad. But yeah, it really is that powerful. I mean, I'm glad you could see that in your own experience, with the company, because it makes such a big difference. And the sooner we can get to it, the
Oh.
quicker results you can have. So that's for sure.
No, it's been really crazy because I look at ClickFunnels and I get asked all the time, well, Dave, why don't you guys have a 30-day trial? Why isn't it a free trial without credit cards? And I hope people understand, we have tested this so many times.
Yeah.
Where the last thing we want are a whole bunch of freebie people who aren't, if they're not willing to put in a credit card, we honestly do not want them. And
That's right.
It's hard for people to understand that. Same thing happens as far as if they're not willing to be action. For us, if you're not willing to really try this in the first 14 days, you're not going to try it in 30 or 60. And all it's going to do is be a burden to us. Now, obviously, we care about people and we want them to be successful. But when we're out there looking at people we're trying to attract to us and our business, we want people who are action takers, who are willing to put in a credit card, who understand that I have to invest to get somewhere in my life. And we want people who don't need a 60 or 90-day free trial, who are going to be doing nothing until the 89th day and then ask for a refund anyways. So I totally understand where you're going.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, you are just so speaking my language about, really stop being vanilla, stop trying to, appease everyone, stand your ground, know what you stand for, be brave about it, be your brand. That's what I call my event, be the brand. Because
I love it.
The more you stand in that space, the more you're going to attract your it factors. You're going to really work with people that value you, and the more importantly, and the one other thing I teach people is brand positioning. So many of us, when we start out, we're trying to be all things to all people, and it really is exhausting. And in your case, it sounds like you use a lot of money trying to be that way, right?
It's very expensive.
It can be very expensive, energy, money, time, whatever. And, and we have to, some of us, obviously I did too. I had to go through the motions and course correct and learn as I go. And that's why I'm here, is to try to shorten that pain point for people and accelerate the results through the brand strategies that are more effective, and marketing strategies and business acumen that really can help people accelerate their results, and finding tools like ClickFunnels or things like that. And I totally got why I think I jumped in for 6 months. I don't know what I did first. I'm like, oh yeah, just give me the whole thing, because I need to check this whole thing out. Whatever that package was. But it weeds people out that are just kicking the tires.
Jena, it's really funny that you mentioned that. Honestly, I have, because you're right. So you came in at what we refer to as our Funnel Hacks program. It's $997 for 6 months. And oh my gosh, we have tested this, and it's really interesting for us as a company, because I'm always looking at the measurements and the stats and things, because we've got affiliates who are trying to promote and what's our lifetime value. But it's really interesting. Those people who come in at our 6 month, like you did, actually are our best customers. And they stay with us longer, they spend more money with us. And the crazy thing is, they're happier with us. It's just, it's fascinating. So for those of you guys who are not on 6 months, go to funnelhacks.com and you can do that. But the idea behind it, though, I think is really cool, and how you've made mention to that is you have to be willing to actually commit. And those people who commit the hardest and the best have the fastest success. It's just, I love seeing that. So thank you.
Yeah, and you're welcome. And the other thing I just want to share, because it's not trying to be hard-nosed about it. It's just that I don't ask people to do something that I'm not willing to do. Like, I invest 5 figures in coaches every year because they give me particular strategy and advice, and they're my mentors and support system. And I don't ask people to pay me any more than I'm willing to pay someone else. Right? I mean, it's like, as I grow, my prices go up. and it's only, you know what I mean? And so if I'm going to, invest in a tool, and I even told my clients, I said, okay, guys, just hold on a minute. I'm going to check out this ClickFunnels, and then, you're all going to get on it, because I'm going to figure it out for you, because I'm going to invest. It's like, just hold on, let me get this figured out, because I know it's going to be a good thing, but let's get strategic about it for you. That's how I do things, because, I don't want people I know there's a lot of people out there that are just afraid to invest, and it's like they want to and they don't know how to get the money. And guess what? I don't always have the money figured out. However, I trust myself enough to go create it.
Wow,
And
that's huge.
It's such a difference. Yeah, it's huge.
Oh my gosh. I think I've seen this happen in every single business I know of who's made over 7 figures. And that is, you cannot get to that level. You can't charge someone more than you're willing to pay yourself.
Yeah,
if that makes
exactly.
sense. And
Yep.
to hear you say that, that just resonates so much with me. I've seen it in a lot of our very successful students in our inner circle stuff who are trying, they're wanting to create a coaching program. They can't charge someone 25 grand for a coaching program unless they're willing to pay themselves 25 grand. And I don't know if it's some universal law or what, but I have never seen it work where you can charge people more than you're willing to pay. I don't know. It's just me.
I'm with you. I don't know. Yeah. Is it a universal law? We can make it up now. The pricing hack. I don't know.
There you go.
But it just feels right for me. It feels like inside of integrity. It feels like, guys, I'm investing in myself. So the people that invest in me get what I'm investing in. Right? Yeah. They receive it through osmosis or whatever. And not to say that they shouldn't go invest it, in other things. I'm just saying I'm a knowledge seeker. That's another one of my it factor characteristics. And, and I look for those knowledge seekers that are going to constantly put their brave on, say yes, figure it out. And every time I've said yes to something that I know is actually good for me, I'm not saying go say yes to everything and not be strategic about it. However, when you're on the edge of excitement and fear, what I say, and I kind of ad-libbed this from something I read. It's basically it's fear is just excitement without breathing, right? It's like just take a breath. If the excitement is there, then it's a good sign that you're meant to do it. It's just that your protective mechanism is taking over, and I've never said yes to something that it's just like, okay, this is not right for me. Right? Or I'm not excited about it, so if I know there's some sense of excitement, I know that I'm just a little afraid because it's outside of my comfort level, then I say yes, and then I figure it out, or I ask for help, or I, make a payment plan, or I don't know, whatever it takes, but it's like, you got to trust yourself that you're going to go take the actions. And that's why I live for rapid responders, because if you're not going to go take the actions, then don't expect it to be in the bank. Right? It's like, so it's creation, it's intention, it's action, and it's, brave, all rolled into one. And those are the things that I do to make sure that if I can do that, then other people listening and the clients I serve can do it too. Like, I am not asking you to do anything that I won't do myself. And that's the biggest key for me. That's been, I think, the best success story of it all is like, I'm willing to do it first and be the leader. And I think brand is useless without leadership.
Oh, fantastic. No, totally, right? I love it. Totally love it. Well, I could literally spend all day talking to you, but I know you've got a whole bunch of other people wanting your time today. But I do want to.
I love it. Thank you.
I do want to jump into something that we started offline, and that is this whole concept of your 60-second intro mistakes, because I think that's something people they are always struggling so much as far as when a person asks them what they should do or what's your business, no one knows exactly what to say. And so I've been kind of holding off on this, but I'm dying to kind of dive into this real quick. So if you don't mind, kind of tell people about this whole 60-second intro mistakes and why it's so important.
Yeah, because it's like the foundation of, networking and speaking and getting to know people. That's the first question they go, what do you do? And people are, they're tongue-tied. And I get it. I've been there, and I sometimes still, kind of struggle around it because I'm like, okay, which message do I share? But the cool thing is there is some common sense around it. There is some brand strategy. I call it message mastering brand strategies. And one of the things that there's a distinction I have between brand message and marketing message. And you have to have a combination of both in order to really connect to your it factors as well as connect to people that might need your service. So I think there's just, some various mistakes or missteps. Mistakes is, a big word for me. I I think there's some missteps that people take on that are just not necessary. And I offer that there's a way to really start to listen to who your market is and be able to speak their language and be able to connect faster. And it takes practice, period, people. If you aren't out there networking and getting the feet wet, it won't work regardless. You've got to be willing to just show up and do it anyway, even if it's uncomfortable or it doesn't make sense or you don't know the answer. And I think that's the bravest thing people can do is just, really put themselves out there in a way that, it's like, just be willing to fail. Fail fast and just get back up and keep going. So yeah, I actually have a free offer, free invitation for people that would like to learn about some of the 60-second intro mistakes that I've identified, and of course how to fix them. Is it okay to share how to get that?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Because I provide in that the 3 top brand strategies that will help you go from tongue-tied to compelling, which is what we all want to be. And so there's a couple actions in there that people can take. So all they have to do is go to freebie, and that's freebie.brandwithjena.com. And that will, direct them to where they can opt in and, get that complimentary from me. And it's just it is part of the brand, the inner game that you have to figure out when you know what you stand for, and then your point of view, and then how do you articulate what you do? And, it's the first question people ask. And even if you can just get your name and your title out, it's a start. But there's some key strategies that I've learned over this, 10 years of networking that just seems to work a little smoother and a little less stressful, and gets some more conversation starters going. So I'll be happy to provide that to anyone that wants it. So yeah,
that's awesome. So again, that's going to be freebie, FREEBIE.brand with Jena, and Jena is JENA.com. I'll put this down in the show notes for you guys as well. But awesome. I want to make sure that you guys understand how important this is. And again, I wish we had more time to kind of go through every single one of these. But as you guys are listening to this, understand that even though you're in an offline or online business, you are running across people all the time that are offline, and you need to be able to speak to people.
That's right.
And network with them and understand it. It's been so much fun for me. I run all the business development opportunities here with ClickFunnels, and I love what I do, primarily because I have the opportunity of meeting with so many different people who are trying to figure out how do they grow their business? What do they do next? And so for me, my 60-second introduction changes all the time, kind of based on, I try to customize it to someone based on where they're at. But
sure, exactly.
I think it's important that people understand you have to at least have an outline or a skeleton or something that you can at least fall back on, because
yes.
You have to be out there building your business online and offline all the time. It's just, to me, there's nothing more exciting for me than building ClickFunnels and being excited about working with these entrepreneurs and meeting people like yourself who, Jen, it's been so much fun for me to get to know you a little better and to see your passion.
Too.
For really, you've done such a great job of going out and really connecting with people to help them find out what their passion is, but most importantly, take that passion to the next level and really get their message out to so many people. So thank you for all that you've done and for the years that you've dedicated towards this. So I really do appreciate your time today.
Oh, thank you so much. This has been so much fun, and it really has been a blast getting to know you as well. And I'm proud to say I know someone directly from ClickFunnels. I'm like, okay, you're not just a website. And it's been really cool to be a part of this community. And it's a culture that I'm happy to be a part of at this point. So it's really cool. And thank you for having me.
Jenna, my pleasure. Again, any parting words before we wrap things up?
I just encourage everyone, to get their brave on. I always say that entrepreneurship is not the easy way. It is the brave way. And it requires decision, it requires commitment, and it requires just fast action, because anything beyond that will keep you paralyzed, and we don't want that. So be brave and go take on the next brave thing that you can think of that'll move your business forward. And if it's, if I can help in any way, please visit my website or, just reach out to me. I'll be happy to support entrepreneurs out there. So thank you so much.
Well, I can't say anything more than that. How would people reach out to you? any other websites?
Yeah, the best way is absolutely, brandwithjena.com has, everything you need from social media to contact information. And there's even a place where they can apply for a complimentary 30-minute conversation with me, and there's events that they can attend. I've even got a 3-day event coming up in March 2017. We have them annually, and there's just so many ways that you can get resources and information and connect with me, and I'm on social media, of course, as well. So all of the above. Please reach out and say hi.
Well, there you go, everybody. This has been Jena. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Funnel Hacker Radio Podcast. If you'd like to be notified anytime we release a new episode, just subscribe over at funnelhackerradio.com. In addition to that, we'd love to send you a free gift. You can find that free gift at funnelhackerradio.com/free trial. One last thing is we love giving away cars. So if you'd like access to a free dream car, all you have to do is go to funnelhackerradio.com/dream car and you'll get all the details. Thanks again for listening.